Hey guys, it's Miss Crystal. It's Wednesday. We are going to talk about some books. Before I get to that though, I just want to mention a few housekeeping things. March to May Million is still going on and we are taking like all the help we can possibly get. So please read, record, even if you just write down a list of books and want to give it to us or email somebody here, then we will figure out the rest for you. If it's too much for you to put it in yourself, any little bit counts, okay? Also, tomorrow is Science Day, and it's the last day of our Spring Big Bonanza programming, but there will be other spring programs coming at you. Also, we are working on our summer programming right now, so stay tuned for that. Okay, now I'm gonna dig into these books. I've got two middle grade and then two high school. So just like usual, I've got 4 books. I'm gonna start with my younger readers first. And I'm gonna say about these two before I begin is that April is National Poetry Month, which inspires me a lot every year because I feel like people don't give verse books enough credit and enough attention, even though they're really great. And also, how come there's not more verse books in adult? Can anyone answer that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna start with Dear Mothman. And this one is written, like I said, in verse, so little poems. And this one is about Noah and Lewis, who are both trans boys in 6th grade now, and best friends on top of that. And so Lewis unfortunately dies halfway through the 6th grade year in a tragic car accident, leaving Noah sort of in the lurch, and kind of just dealing with his grief, dealing with transitioning, dealing with normal 6th grade emotions that are happening. And to cope with all of that, Noah has begun to write letters to Mothman. Mothman is basically the equivalent of Bigfoot in this story. It's just a creature that Lewis sort of created. And Lewis believed that it was real. Noah is skeptical, and that it lived around their house in the woods. And so it's just interesting how they use fantasy to deal with reality, and I feel like all of us do that, especially when we're children. So I just really loved it, and I think everyone should give it a try. Next thing, Ebb and Flow. So this one is different than Mothman because that poetry is very introspective and slow and yeah, it's beautiful. And then this is very, I feel it's still beautiful, but it is hard hitting, and it reminds me a lot of hip hop and poetry jam sort of feel. So I loved it. And this is about Ebony and Dakari. They both don't like each other at the beginning of the book because I believe Ebony ruined Dakari's sneakers, or maybe it's the other way around. But anyways, they get into a fight because of these sneakers. And then disciplinary action is taken, and they are told that they basically must go through forced mediation. So they have to learn to get along, and in that process, they discover more about each other. And I think it was interesting how they use the sneakers to then talk about how a kid would find something like that so valuable if they don't have a lot of money and therefore don't receive a lot of new things, and also don't get a lot of attention at home because of this or that. It's so interesting and great, and I liked it. Okay, next one. These are my high school books, just so you know. So this is Promise Boys. This is about 3 boys, JB, Trey, and Ramon, and they go to Urban Promise Academy, which is this charter school that is for all boys, and it's supposed to be a promise for a successful future of these inner city Black boys. And so what happens though is that the principal mysteriously is murdered, and now these boys are being blamed for it. And so the way they tell the story is all these different accounts of these kids, someone will be interviewed about JB or Ramon or Trey, and they'll ask them questions about them, and so they kind of tell them their opinion of these boys or their encounter with them. And I think that was an interesting way to look at it, because the way that we view a lot of these a lot of like cases and stuff in the news is we never get any input from the actual person. We always are getting it like a third party telling us about this person. So I thought it was interesting the way that it was told, and I liked it. I think everyone should give it a try. Next one, Imposter Syndrome and Other Confessions of Alejandra Kim. So this one is about this girl, and she is Hispanic and Korean, which has left her feeling like racially distraught, in a better way to put it. She feels like she doesn't fit in like any of these communities, and especially where she lives, she feels, I think she lives in like a highly Hispanic community, so she feels definitely like she doesn't fit in because she looks Korean, but then also her name is like super Hispanic. It's a lot, and she just can't wait to like one day just leave and go to college and start her own life and whatever. She's just trying to get out of here. But all this stuff happens at school, all these like little racial microaggressions are happening, and it's putting her at the forefront, and it's giving her more attention. So we're just trying to go through emotion. It's basically just like a coming of age tale, and also like a I'm trying to accept myself tale. So yeah, those are 4 books. Hopefully you guys saw something or heard something that you liked. As always, I will be putting this video on YouTube with the list of books in in like the little description section. So if you do not want to listen to me, you can. And that's it. I guess I'll see you next week. Bye.